right, before we get into the review, just one really quick thing. I didn't get the gun in frame the whole time. I might have gotten just, maybe half of it at some point, so I do apologize for that. I don't think I've done a review at this range, and that's no excuse. I should have checked this stuff beforehand, but I do apologize. You have a good view of everything with a firearm, but yeah, I did make a little boo-boo there, so sorry. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video and the review. This was awesome, great. Let me know what you think at the end. Comment, like, subscribe, all that jazz, not in a particular order. Recommend. Yes. All right, enjoy.
This video is intended for educational and informational purposes only. All firearm handling shown is performed by trained individuals in a controlled environment. Always follow the 4 rules of gun safety. Number 1, treat your firearm as if it is loaded. Number 2, never point a firearm at anything you do not intend to destroy. Number 3, keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Number 4, be sure of your target and what's beyond it. Comply with all local, state, and federal laws regarding firearms. Do not attempt to replicate any action seen in this video without proper training and safety measures. The creators assume no liability for misuse or unsafe practices.
Hello you, welcome back to the pew for this 1,000 round review of the FN 509C or FN 509 Compact. Don't base my lack of accuracy of those 10 shots there. That was horrible, but we're here today. We're going to go over the review of the 509C and probably do a couple more rounds. I got to make up for that abysmal shooting because it's not a reflection of how I feel about the firearm, but there are a couple of things that I need to clarify with it later on in the video, but yeah, we'll cross that bridge once we get there. Yeah, first and foremost with these reviews, I'm just going to go over the 3 cons, the 3 pros, and then my opinion at the very end. I'm not going to go on about a lot of different nuance takes or, let's say, opinions. So there are a couple things with the firearm that have been changed looking at the website, and one of them is the trigger, which it made me change my pros and cons a little bit because yeah, the trigger is amazing, but that isn't the stock trigger for the 509C. All right, so let's go ahead, get right into the cons, and we'll take it from there and then talk about the little things that have changed. Because I bought this used. I don't know how many rounds it had through it, but it was a used pistol. So one of the first cons, con number 1 of the 509C is the rear sight, or the sights in general. But I'm just going to list it as a rear sight because it does not have any sort of distinction, even though they are cut out. They have little circles. I don't know if you can see them, but they have little circles. There we go. Cut out for, maybe for some paint to put in there, but they didn't do that. So I thought that was kind of strange, and not that it was a problem for sight acquisition, because as I draw to bring up, you could see the yellow dot pretty distinctly. It's very, very visible, very visible. So it's not bad, but it is a nitpick on my end, and it will be if I can't find anything else for the firearm, which this firearm, it was hard to find a lot of things other than nitpicks. So yeah, con number 1 is the rear sight. Rear sight is blacked out. Wish it had a couple of, distinctive marks, because it looked like it was, milled out to do that. So I just found that kind of strange. So then the second con number 2, is the mag pinch. Now, when you're shooting, the texture is nice. It can get a little aggressive, but there's a gap here in the magazine. Now, this wouldn't be a problem, I don't think, with the other base plates for the magazines, but there's mag pinch here, and with the magazine that it only came with 1 magazine because it was used, but it only came with this 1 magazine, and it has that little bit of a pinch. And it's not terrible, but it is noticeable over time. So that was something kind of a negative. And like I said, I don't have the other magazines to see. I presume that the 10 round would be flush, that without the base plate would be flush with the firearm, and it wouldn't be a problem. But that is something that it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that it sits like that, and it may, like I said, it may just be because this base plate is. I could just do it like that, and I don't. Well, there'll still be some pinch in there because my finger's getting inside the mag well. Sorry if I'm not in frame. Pardon me. So let me go back because I didn't see if I showed it or not. So yeah, when you're here, there's just a little bit of wiggle room, a little bit of a pinch. So that's con number 2. This is a magazine pinch, and for the base plate, larger base plate feature set. So I looked at the price. I thought I bought it for $500. It was marked at $550 maybe, and then of course the taxes increased it to like $600 something. So I bought it used for $500, but it upped it to $600 for the price, which is fine. It's okay. I know the compacts, they go a little bit more in terms of EDCs and everything, and FN I know is a little bit pricier, on the pricier side, or can be at least. So that's okay. However, the feature set, excuse me, for the pistol includes the Picatinny. It has ambidextrous mag release and slide stop, which is nice. Didn't come with that trigger, which I'm not going to get into, but doesn't have an optics cutout. So for MSRP of $649, I believe, I'll change that in post and put it over there. That's kind of steep, and so the feature set for the price point on this platform for just the bare bones 509C, not the MRD, because the MRD is $834 on the website MSRP, and that's pretty steep for having the optics cut. So the feature set on the firearm is also it's a little lacking, for $600. I would expect a little bit more, especially because given the nature of this, not the platform, but the competition that it's going up against. You can get a lot better platform like the Canik Mete MC9 Prime with the optics cut, and it's only $600, around that ballpark. So this being $634, $649 is going to make it over $700 with taxes and everything included, depending on where you're at. So that feature set, I wish it included that optics mount with that price point. So I'm not going to say the price is a negative, just the feature set for what you're paying for. I think it should have been there. So that's con number 3. Now, for the pros, the pro was going to be the trigger, but I'll get that out of the way first. The trigger is not this trigger. I looked at the LE, the law enforcement editions, which is only for law enforcement, obviously. And the trigger, I think this is the law enforcement trigger, which maybe you could buy aftermarket, or you can go to eBay or something like that and purchase and swap it out. It does come from FN, but it's only for law enforcement. For the regular 509Cs, they have that hinge trigger, like the Smith & Wesson M&P 1.0. It has that hinge trigger, and then all the Palmetto State Armory daggers, those triggers, which I don't think they would be bad, but because I didn't shoot it, I can't say anything about it. And this was going to be a positive, but because it's not coming from the factory, I'm not going to mark it as a positive. It is a positive, but not for this pistol. I think it was swapped out, so it's not stock configuration. I'm not going to make mention of that. So for me, it's the texture. The texture is very aggressive. The serrations and the slide cuts are pretty nice. You can get a good grip on them, and I do really appreciate that. So for a concealed carry, right, it could rub you a little raw, or could dig into you a little bit. I wear an undershirt, so it's not going to be a problem for me. But for those that don't, I could see that being maybe an issue. But for me, I like all of the texturing around the grip, texturing it has on the magazine. And then also, it's going up to the slide. The texture here, where your thumb rest is and where your index and a little bit of your palm goes, doesn't go all the way up to the slide, but it's just enough to get there. And even though it doesn't have texturing out on the trigger guard and over here on the trigger finger rest, and the gas pedal too, but this acts like a gas pedal. It's got some grip there. But overall, yeah, the texturing for the firearm, the serration slide cuts on the slide is pro number one. I like that very much. The fit is extremely nice. I really enjoyed shooting this. It made me feel very confident holding on to it, because it almost felt like a full size. It almost felt like a full size pistol when you're holding on. You know, similar to the Glock 19 or anything along those lines, where that isn't a compact version. Maybe I think it could be listed as a compact, but this fit for the pistol was very nice. It had a lot of weight to it that added to balance and just the overall feel of the firearm in your hands, and I really did appreciate that. So that for me was a definite positive, was the fit of the firearm in my hands, because my hands, like I said, I have a 8-inch wingspan from pinky to thumb, and it just felt so good. Now, pro number 3 on just that last shot is the shooting experience. That was 22 yards. I'm punched out 22 yards as usual in this setting there, right? And that's amazing. Off the draw, the recoil is manageable. Like I said, the sight acquisition, the grip, like I said, the fit of the firearm. So the shooting experience is phenomenal, and that stood out to me right away. It stood out to the other guest shooters as well. And this is a great performing firearm, and I think that it's well worth at least to test and to try, because of the name, but then just the platform itself is just very confident. Now that trigger also has something to do with it, so I don't know about the regular stock hinge trigger, but this one was definitely money. So I really did appreciate it. Now my opinion for this, because the fit it's a little bit thicker, and to carry, I mean, maybe I think that for new shooters it would be a good firearm to have to test out along with the Glock. It is definitely something that is manageable. It will not scare you. It's not going to give you any sort of feedback that will impede your learning experience if you're a new shooter, especially if you're a new shooter. So I do believe that, in my opinion, this can be a carry. This can be a new gun to shoot. It is something that for new shooters and then experienced shooters as well, once you swap out the trigger. And for the price point though, for new shooters, yeah, it's better to test that than try to get into that, because it's going to be a little bit more, I'd say not more expensive, but you'll get a lot more. I would say not a lot more, but you would get more for the price in a Glock or a Ruger RXM. I'm always going to recommend that RXM, which the review is coming up, so stand by. And this, for, I'd say, fanboys or people that do love FN, definitely get it. Have it in your collection. It is something that will make you happy. For new shooters, to shoot it, to buy it, probably not to buy it, but to test out as you're beginning, that's fine. I think that would be a good way to go. And experienced shooters, you're gonna have a blast with it. It's a lot of fun. It is very capable, aside from the lack of the optics, which I'm fine with it. You know, I'm shooting just the iron sights, but for the price, you know, you have to make that compromise comparatively to the competition that's out there. So yeah, no, I really appreciated this firearm. I loved shooting it, super accurate with it. I felt very good, chewed through everything, had a couple of light primer strikes, but that was the ammunition. I think it was from Sports LTD or whatever that company was, Factory Loads. And other than that, I didn't have any issues with the ammo. So this, and takedown too, like the takedown is very, very simple. It's just the lever like a Smith & Wesson or Springfield Armory. Very, very simple. Let me know what you think. I had a wonderful time. Thank you so much for giving me feedback, supporting the video, watching it, and telling me your thoughts on the FN. I don't know if I got any comments on it actually, but it was a great pistol. And yeah, if it was something that you wanted to pick up, or if you are a fan of FN, you wanted to add it to your collection, I think it is a solid choice. Maybe look for it used, because I don't think that it's going to be a problem for this firearm. I mean, for any firearm for that matter, it wouldn't be a problem to have it used. So thank you so much. I'm going to leave it there. I think that was a good amount of time. Is that 24 minutes? Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. The great journey. Thank you so much for being here. I just have the tremendous amount of gratitude, and want to thank everybody of you folks for participating and being here. But okay, I'll stop there. Come back for the next review series. I think I'm going to post the Max 9, the Ruger Max 9 review in the next couple of days. So stay tuned for that, or maybe tomorrow. Anyway, make sure that you aim for center mass, pick up your brass, wash your ass, say hi to your mom for me. No outro today. We're just going to leave it at that. I think that was enough. And yeah, I appreciate you. Catch you later.